In my previous video, I demonstrated how you can add two fractions together. But in this video, I'm going to demonstrate how you can subtract two fractions. Let me start off by saying that in the World Wide Web, in the social media, if you look at it, when they say you have two fractions of say 7 over 8 minus 1 over 4, what they're recommending is to multiply the denominator like that. And 8 times 4 will give you 32. And then you got to multiply 7 times 4, which is going to give you 28. And 8 times 1 is going to give you minus 8. So you get a value of 20 over 32 like that. But in the actual examination, a lot of institutions do not accept unsimplified version of fraction. So in order to get your points, you're going to have to basically simplify your fraction. So you can see that the common factor between 20 and 32 would be 4. So 20 divided by 4 will give you 5, and 32 divided by 4 will give you 8. So your answer in your examination should be 5 over 8. You can see there's one extra step here, but let me show you one way to do it, which is much faster so that you don't have to simplify. So let's copy the question again, 7 over 8 minus 1 over 4. The idea behind subtraction and minus of fraction is that you're going to have to make the denominator the same. As you can see, you can easily make 4 into 8 by multiplying this by 2, because 4 times 2 will give you 8. So whatever you do with the denominator, you're going to have to do the same thing with the numerator. So if you rewrite the equation, 7 over 8 minus 1 times 2 is 2, 4 times 2 is 8. Since the denominator is the same, you can now subtract 7 minus 2, the numerators. So 7 minus 2 will give you 5 over 8. As you can see, you can effectively and more efficiently produce your answer rather than having to simplify your large fraction, right? So let me give you another one more example where you cannot follow this multiplication of denominator. Let's say, for example, if you have a fraction of 3 over 5 minus 1 over 5. Now, if you start multiplying this, will give you a value of 25, because 5 times 5 will give you 25. And then, of course, you're going to have to multiply 3 times 5 will give you 15. And this here, 1 times 5, 1 times 5 will give you 5. So 15 minus 5 will give you 10. And just copy the denominator, 25. And now you're going to have to further simplify this. Again, you can see the factor of 10 would be 5, which is going to be 2. And then this is going to be 5. So there's one extra step here you have to do before you get your final answer. But the actual way to solve this problem is actually very fundamental. Let me rewrite this equation again. So you have 3 over 5 here like this. So now, since the denominator is already 5 for both fractions, you can simply go ahead and say 3 minus 1 and copy the denominator. 3 minus 1 is 2 over 5. You can see that the technique is very clean and very simple to get your final answer, rather having to do all these convoluted steps here. But if you have a denominator that does not have a common factor you can multiply with, let's say, for example, 5 over 9 minus 1 over 2, obviously there's no common denominator. So at this stage, yes, you can go ahead and multiply the denominator here. So 9 times 2 is 18. And of course, when you do that, you're going to have to do 5 times 2 will give you the value of 10. And 9 times 1 will give you a value of 9. And then it's going to be 1 over 18. I'm going to leave you with one last example here. Would be, let's say, for example, 3 over 4 minus 1 over 6. As you can see, it's very obvious that you could almost multiply 6 times 4 to get your denominator to be constant. But you can see that 6 times 2 will give you 12, and 4 times 3 will give you 12 as well. So whatever you do with the denominator, you're going to have to do with the numerator. Whatever you do with this denominator, you're going to have to multiply 3 on the numerator. So 3 times 3 will give you 9, and 4 times 3 is 12, minus 1 times 2 is 2, 6 times 2 is 12. Now the denominator is the same. All you have to do is subtract the 9, the two numerators. 9 minus 2 will give you a value of 7, and just copy the denominator, and you have your final answer.